Welcome to Kopi with Kopi. In this series, I will be having my favorite cup of Kopi and some very interesting guests who will be sharing some special insights about digital transformation in the industry. Today again, I have a very interesting guest who has got a diverse experience in terms of handling the digital transformation and DevOps in the banking industry as well as in telco industry. He was earlier working in banks like Merrill Lynch, Standard Chartered. In between, he went in a startup organization also, and now he's driving the DevOps and Cloud Technologies in Singtel. He is Director of DevOps and Cloud Technologies in Singtel, Ion Mudreac. Welcome and very good morning to you, Ion, in Kopi with Kopi.
Hello, hi Kopi. Yeah.
Hi,
thank you for having me.
Good to have you, Ion. Let's start. I think this is pretty early in the morning, but let's start with our question and answer session straight away. Ion, you have got a very diverse experience in banking and telecom industry, right? So I just wanted to understand your perspective on what exactly is the role that DevOps today is playing in terms of driving digital transformation.
I see. So I think that DevOps itself as a term, as a word, evolved quite significantly over the last, since was coined more than 10 years ago, right? So, and it's evolved in many different perspectives. Started as a cultural shift, and become more towards more automation. Now it's from DevOps itself as a concept, become like a Biz DevOps, or then you have a GitOps and so many other things, which is encompass the same thing like SRE, another format of the DevOps, right? So currently in the industry, how I see, so each organization perceive DevOps is in their unique ways. So, and there is nothing wrong about it, right? So some more specific to industry, like exactly as you mentioned, like banking and probably telecom or startups, see a little bit differently, and the scope and focus is a little bit different depending on very much on the size of organization and compliance that you require around it. Yeah, so I don't think it's a very specific rule. What DevOps is as long as you understand the concepts behind and strive to automate and bring the value to the business with each step, because not everything makes sense to automate, right? It's value driven.
You're right.
And probably this is what matters. And I don't think it's a huge difference between the industries. For example, banking is just how they approach it. For example, from organizational perspective.
Right.
I'm not sure if this answers the question, but yeah, it's more broader. It's not black and white cut between the industries and size.
Okay. And what exactly are you seeing as a difference in terms of, I mean, you have been working and driving this DevOps culture in Standard Chartered Bank or Merrill Lynch earlier, and now you are doing it same thing in Singtel, it's a telco industry. So what kind of differences are you seeing driving it in the banking industry, vice versa in the telecom industry?
For these specific two industries, its case is in the banking is more centralized. Yeah, and you have usually centralized departments who taking care of the tooling around it, like even DevOps organization, right? In the telecom, it's more the project oriented. You have a smaller teams, and each team manage their own DevOps capabilities. You don't have a centralized culture of DevOps. So, so it could be argued. So some industry could be faster than another to adopt the principles. But depending on the nature of the organization, that's so banking are more centralized DevOps functions. In telecom, I see they are more diverse and specific on the division, department, and development team that they manage.
Okay. So when you say about more diversified in telco industry and more centralized driving it in the banking industry, what kind of roadblocks typically do you see in both these industries when it comes to driving that DevOps culture? Because it's more about the mindset, right? So how do you see and what kind of challenges do you face when you're driving such culture in your organizations?
Mostly DevOps is driven by technologists or the geeks, right? So, but DevOps roots as idea behind is based on the values that you can. So you don't automate for the sake of automation, right? So you do it because you try to be more efficient, or it's part from, for example, the lean format, right? So theory constraints and so on, right? So this, I think, it's many times it's interpreted. So we need to automate everything with any cost, right? So the question, the work cost, what is covered. So what is makes sense? Because many times the value to automate everything, it doesn't make sense. Right? Just so probably I would see the biggest constraint to educate the team around the values that they try to bring through automation, right? And always think from the perspective how much about the effort is invested and outcomes, right?
Okay.
So not just purely technical. So the DevOps is not just automation technically, but the value-driven perspective. It should be there. So I think this is similar with Agile, probably, right? Once you start the business talking with the development team, right? So then you have a completely new level of the communication, right? So now it's a completely value-driven, but not anymore like you write the code, which language you use, and so on. So probably that's, I think the DevOps is missing this piece, because it's still, it should be value-driven from many perspectives there.
Okay. And DevOps and cloud technologies go today hand in hand, right? And you have been leveraging a lot of cloud technologies wherever you have been going and using it for driving this DevOps culture. So what kind of role do you see cloud as such, as an initiative, and cloud technologies play in driving this DevOps culture, or even driving values within your team? What is the importance of that?
Again, technological revolution, right? It's I think if you see how this movement started, right? They don't start it from the blue, right? They need to be technologically oriented already. An example would be with the cloud, right? So before it was very difficult. Before the cloud, it was very difficult to automate anything, right? In organization, or you need entire army just to maintain your data centers, and most automation was very manual and very pinpoint, right? With the cloud, is give you you start thinking from perspective or auto scaling, right? Horizontal scaling and so on, which bring a completely different new mindsets, right? That's why you started. And that's why DevOps, if you see each revolution in organization, each revolution in organization is basically also start basically evolving through technological innovation as well. So they're not evolving in the vacuum.
Okay. But do you see that because of the cloud technology, your team's flexibility in adoption of technologies, or actually experimenting, and even if they have to fail, it is fail faster and try something new? Is that increasing, and how are you seeing that trend right now?
Absolutely. Again, so you can definitely automate everything on your data centers on-prem, right? So it's just amount of effort will be more recently you will have solutions which allow you to do it much more easily, but when it came to the cloud, it's a cost of the opportunity, right?
Okay.
Right? So how much are you willing to pay for innovate, right? You said, okay, let's innovate, but we don't give access to anybody to do anything. Yeah. So what's the point? So idea, what are the cost of innovation? Right? And this is where the creativity is very, it's coupled with your freedom to expression or to access a specific technology, trial and error, basically, right? So that's why I think it's very coupled with, and the cloud actually very specific. It's allow you very easy evolution,
right,
for this point of view. So
okay. Fantastic, knowing this journey in banking industry as well as in the telecom industry, and knowing the nuances about it. Now I'm trying to understand more you as a person. So what had been your hobbies and interests that you pursue after work, and whenever you have some free time?
Yeah, I think that I'm still a technologist at heart, in the sense. Okay. Even my background is not in technology. My background more is in economics, computational economics. So, I still try to spend a lot of time, my free time, trying a new technology.
Okay.
Just many times related to my work. So, and probably, yeah. So a lot of time I'm spending in the trying new tech. And like a few days, I have a new projects and I enjoy doing it. Additionally, cycling, probably another things that I try to on the sports.
Okay. Great to know this, Ion, and thanks a lot for your time today on Kopi with Kopi. So I really appreciate that. I hope you have your cup of coffee now, and
Yes,
you can do
yes,
a quick
I do.
cheers. Okay.
Have my espresso. Cheers.
Okay, cheers.
Okay,
And
take care.
have a good day, and wish you all the best in your journey towards driving this digital transformation with the organization. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Kopi.